Everything into account, that we had to play our third game in 7 days, and playing Wednesday evening, having the early kickoff, taking that all into account, and then playing the derby and winning it. We have a great first half performance.
No, but I think we had also the opportunity to score more, but 2-1, then you know, especially in this game, Everton with the defense that they have, and they keep coming, then you have to defend. But next time, we don't concede.
I think somebody said to me, I think they had maybe 9 attempts at goal and a couple, 3 or 4 on target, and we had 7. So maybe in the end of the day there wasn't so much between it. We've got no problems. The players are doing really well, and we just pulled up a little bit short against one of the best teams in the league, if not the best, and it shows that we're coming a long way.
You got a yellow card after the final whistle for a disagreement with the referee. Can I ask you what that was for?
He gave Kiernan a yellow card for taking a quick free kick, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, you can't give. We want to get we're losing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want to get the ball back in play and carry on playing, and he gives him a yellow card. It baffles me. That's so unheard of. I've never heard of that in my life. So I was just saying that to him, and then also I was saying, where'd you get 3 minutes from and 1 minute in the first half for extra time? I've never heard of that either. Come on. Yeah. Usually it's 4 or 5 minutes, isn't it? So yeah, listen, it is what it is. We move on. And then I didn't even know that he gave me a yellow, actually, so that's news to me.
Well, he knows now. And he also talked about added time at the end of the game, but really it wasn't the second half where the game was won. It was a very different second half from the first, where Liverpool put it beyond Everton in the end.
Yeah, they were really bright and sharp first half. I think he made some changes which helped them, the freshness. But I thought what they did really well is utilise the space behind Everton's midfield 3 and the back 4. The gaps were too big, and Liverpool were really intelligent in how they got the ball in there early. We see early on, there's the Everton midfield 3, locked in on their opponents without really thinking about the space behind them. I kind of get it early on, but he gets another goal and did really well this afternoon. To be fair to Everton in the second half, they must have talked about it because they were more compact. They won more second balls. They condensed that space more and didn't get too preoccupied with what was ahead of them. And from there, they got a foundation into the game. But job done first half, really bright. Yeah,
they did improve, Everton, but could they have done more to stop the goals?
Yeah, I think they could have. I think the goals were really poor goals for Everton to concede. And, when you go into Anfield, you want to be tight, you want to be solid and not give any easy chances away. And I just felt the goals were too easy for Liverpool to score. So for Michael Keane, Tarkowski, the leaders in there to make sure they get up and they get on one line, because the minute you don't, that's what happens. They punish you.
The BBC drama series, The City is Ours, referenced there by Hugo Ekitike, clearly a big fan. All episodes available now on iPlayer.
That's good.
Should you want to go and watch it. Look, as far as Liverpool's performance goes, Danny, they weren't at their best. Are there signs that they are going to kick into gear, maybe after the next international break, before then, later? What do you think?
I think there's good signs, because in most matches they've had great moments. I thought midweek was a really good performance overall, although they had a little spell in the second half. But today, the more obvious thing was the fatigue from Wednesday night in the second half as the game wore on. You could see that. But still so many new players forming relationships and understanding what each other does. Ekitike is different to Isak. So if you're playing with either one, you have to learn their traits and their characteristics. So to win 5 out of 5, not playing at your best, is a phenomenal start for them, and actually a really good sign.
Let's see if we can do any better for you, Wayne, with the next one.
Arne Slot saying Liverpool, a great team to watch, and they've started this season so brilliantly, sitting top of the table, winning every single game. Jules also asked him there about the competition, of course, between Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Do you think we can see them both playing together, Peter? Can you imagine that?
I can see it, yeah. I think both of them actually like to drift over to the left-hand side, funny enough. I think Ekitike, some of his best work has been out on that left-hand side, and the same with Isak. So, I mean, it can be interchangeable. One could be in a centre-forward position and drift out to the left, and they can swap. I do think that could happen. Gakpo might have something to say about that. I thought he was fantastic again today.
And he's a player that Arne Slot really seems to trust, isn't he, Cody Gakpo?
Yeah, without doubt. And, you can see why he hasn't let anyone down. I thought he was so strong today. He was playing right in front of us.
I think in the first half, he made the tackle that David Moyes and Everton were complaining about before the goal, before they scored the first goal. So his work rate out of possession is key to how they perform, definitely.
As a squad, go on, Peter.
No, just to say he's a manager's dream, you know, because I think you can see why there's certain managers off the ball and his strength, you know, tackling, that he was willing to work for the team, and he gives you so much going forward as well.
And there was a time where, you know, you weren't quite sure, I guess, where Cody Gakpo would fit into this team. He wasn't one of the first names on the team sheet, but do you think he's become that now?
Well, it's almost, you know, it's enough for Luis Diaz to be let go. The fact that Gakpo has the ability on the left-hand side, he's that important to Slot. You can see he trusts him. And of course, you know, I think he'll be here for a long time. But of course, he's got competition. Slot's talked about it there. He's got competition in places in every position now. But all the top sides have that.
As a squad, how well equipped are they, do you think, Jolyon, to compete on 4 fronts?
Very well. I think if their best second 11 are able to win games. I do think if they lost Virgil, God forbid it doesn't happen, you don't wish injury on anyone, but he's probably the one influential part of this team. I think the fact that they've got Isak now, if Mo Salah was to, again, unfortunately miss games, they have someone that can contribute goals-wise. But yeah, listen, their squad in depth, their strength in depth is going to be key to their success. They're going to have to rotate, and no one's going to feel like they're dropped. If you're playing in the Champions League, i.e. Atletico, big games, and then you're playing in the Merseyside Derby, you're not going to feel like you've missed out on anything because you're contributing to everything. And if they go on to win 2-3 trophies, it'll be huge for them all.
Do you think that they may get to a point where they could possibly regret just not getting that Mark Gay deal over the line?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, obviously you saw Joe Gomez on the bench there. He's never let anyone down. You know, he's always been a player to come in and cope with the kind of pressure, whatever game. I think, as Jolyon said there, I think Alisson and Van Dijk feel like the two players that you lose them for a long period of time, then I think you could suffer. But there's enough goals in there. Mo Salah's in that category, but you feel like they could potentially manage that now.
100%. I just think that the impact, like psychologically, that would have on the dressing room, the opposition, if no Virgil, no Alisson, listen, the replacements might be as good, but psychologically you're going to be like, oh, now we can test them even more so. So they're probably the two areas, as Karachi said.
You're picking holes in that side.
No problems in the forward areas.
It's a decent squad.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. And it's doing the trick because they are winning games, winning every game so far. I was echoing some of Jack Grealish's thoughts on the officiating, but plenty to be positive about for them going ahead this season, Jolyon. What do you think is possible for them?
Europe. And I'm not going to put myself out on the limb and say that, because if they produce games like the second half and later stages of the first half, they will be very hard to beat and cause teams a lot of problems. Listen, whether that's sustainable for them throughout the year, who knows? But yeah, they should be frustrated that they didn't play that 90 minutes like the second half. You can't afford to come to places like Anfield and give them such a lead and think you're going to get back into it. But David Moyes said it's not just today. Throughout the season, they've caused teams a lot of problems, and they'll definitely be looking up rather than looking down.
And there was a couple of home games as well, West Ham and Palace as well, at their shiny new stadium as well, Peter. They'll be relishing those, won't they, now?
Yeah, I think, it shows how far they've come. You know, they're disappointed not to get a result here at Anfield. You know, last year relegation was a real possibility, and potentially the year before that they were a club in disarray at points. So what David Moyes has done, Jolyon's just mentioning European qualification, which is a real possibility for this squad now. They've signed well. They look like they are confident. I do think they're missing a cutting edge. I think their centre forward is, I'm not sure Beto or Barry is the answer for them, but they've got a lot of positives in areas. I think they're aggressive. They feel like David Moyes' side, the side that you were part of. That's a team that the Everton fans can get behind, that don't want to get beat, that want to put their foot in, and they've got a sprinkling of stardust in there as well, certainly in the wide areas. But I do think the January that they may need to get a striker, and I know that's so difficult to go out and get because they have spent money as well on those players, but I'm not sure they're the answer.
Yeah, and there's a lack of sort of someone else up front could hold back their progress. He will believe, though, Jolyon, if he can get them to Europe after what he did with West Ham, he can go and win a European Cup for them. And what would that do for his legacy?
Just enable it even more. Listen, no one's questioned, and no one should question his legacy, especially Everton. West Ham, same. But yeah, if he goes on and achieves that, just a trophy with Everton, I think they'll laud him, because I do believe that was the most important element to where they are now, was getting David Moyes back. I think the club was fractured for a number of reasons, but the relationship between the club and the fans wasn't there, and there was only one man to kind of gel that back together, and that was David Moyes. And the fans will have patience with him and believe he's the guy and the manager that can guide them to success.
That's one of the biggest things that he's done, isn't it? I mean, that relationship between the team and the fans was bad. You know, it felt, you know, it was awful at times. So to connect that again with a team now that the fans can get behind is so important, because when you've got the crowd behind you at Everton, it's, you know, as you know better than me, Jolyon, like it's a huge force and a difficult game to play.
Debunking that theory that you should never go back. And he's doing it twice. It's looking like an inspired appointment from the Freakin' group.
Definitely. Again, they recognise what the club needed. It was David Moyes. They've done that now. They've also backed him in the transfer window. And hopefully now he can go on and showcase his tactical ability. We touched on they may need a striker, but I remember when I played there, we had Tim Cahill and Fellaini for pretty much a whole season. So he's aware of how to manage a team with a lack of, in respect, quality in the central area, but I'm sure they'll create enough problems and realise what their strengths are.
And it's all eyes on the Emirates tomorrow as well. Arsenal taking on Manchester City. That just adds a little bit more pressure on those two sides ahead of that
problem.
It's a nice problem, though.
Well, I suppose it is.
I wouldn't mind that problem with us.
Well, I know, but yeah. Well, let's just see.
Why? What's you alluding to here?
Well, I'm not. It's an unbelievable problem. You've literally got two of the best handful of strikers in the world under one roof there. But, like, at some point, there is going to be a pecking order. There has to be a pecking order at some point. You can't just say, right, you play one, you play one. Nobody's going to be happy with that.
Did that not work for you in that season at Real Madrid, though?
Yeah, and I wasn't happy. Exactly. We're like...
It was R9, to be fair.
Well, exactly. I don't mind that.
You did at the time.
Well, it was probably Raul that was as well. But
anyway, he wasn't bad anyway. We digress, but yeah.
Forgetting that. No, I think you need a pecking order, in certain situations, and it'll just be really interesting. At the moment, it's reasonably simple for Arne Slot, because you've got one sort of coming not back from but having a mixed pre-season, let's say, in Isak with all the turmoil that happened up at Newcastle. So straight away you've got a nice excuse just to say, right, we'll bring you in slowly. So he's given him an hour the other day. If there wasn't a midweek game next week, what would happen against Crystal Palace at the weekend? I mean, as it happens, they've got Southampton in the League Cup, so it's perfect for him. Again, he can just go, right, Isak, you go and play another 70 minutes, we're building you up again, and then straight back to Ekitike, and then there's a Champions League match the next week. So at the moment, it's fine. But once they're both absolutely firing, and it's like they're going full throttle for everything, then there has to be a hierarchy, Steve. There has to be somebody that plays in all the main games. And that's when it will become a problem. Now, there might be an injury in the meantime. There might be something else that happens that Arne Slot almost gets a free ride. But it could be, it could be a little issue at some point until somebody has to accept, right, OK, I'm second choice.
I mean, it never ceases to fascinate me, this strikers, goal scorers.
Am I wrong?
No.
Would you not feel the same?
No. Yeah, you want to play, you want to be... Yeah, but particularly the strikers, because they want to get in a rhythm. And, I mean, even going back to Michael's day, Robbie Fowler still talks about it now. In the year they won the treble, he was getting told, you'll play on Saturday, but Michael Owen has to play here with Emil Heskey, and he didn't like it.
Yeah,
and he couldn't handle it.
Managers and teams and even midfielders behind you, you want your strikers to be the sharpest. That's when you need to be speed of thought, speed of physicality, to be able to make the difference. So, yeah, managers will want to be able to rotate. They don't want tired strikers, even if they're scoring goals. So you always want more than one strike. That's why I said it's worked out brilliantly before the game that they've ended up with both. But there is already a hierarchy. Michael says there will become a hierarchy. There is already, the way we're talking about it, even the questions there of, are you giving the manager a headache because you've scored again? That's already telling us Isak is the main guy, even though he's hardly played a game. So I think it's quite harsh on Ekitike. He's come in, he started the season. He's the guy who's scoring the goals. At the minute, he should be the main guy. And Isak should have to force his way in, but we're already
we're already sort of saying that Isak is the main guy.
Yeah, and we're talking about two strikers who last season for their respective clubs scored 49 goals between them. So, I mean, that's the problem Arne Slot's got today. You started the day by talking about the importance of Ryan Gravenberch for Liverpool.
Forward as well. You know, and I look round the world at the moment at midfield players and I think who is better than him? Who is performing better than him? I don't see many at all. I think he is one of the finds of the last season or so. You know, certain circumstances could have meant that he wouldn't be playing. If Liverpool had got Zubamendi, let's say, when they wanted, he wouldn't have been playing. Even when they played Ipswich on the first game of last season, we were all scratching our heads thinking, who's going to play as the number 6 today? And word emanated from the dressing room, it's going to be Gravenberch. And I then went and interviewed him and found out that he was. And then he's never looked back since. It's incredible. I mean, Bayern Munich, they must be scratching their heads thinking, wow, why have we let him go? Because he could be anything. Absolutely. If he was playing for another team now, everybody would be after him as a new number 6, new sitting midfield player, thinking 100 million plus. And
Everton's problem in that first half was they couldn't get to grips with Gravenberch and the rest of that Liverpool midfield at all, could they?
No, and I would expect there was a few choice words at half-time from David Moyes. I think that's where Everton, well, it's obvious that's where Everton lost the game in that first half, but it was because, in my opinion, in the middle of the pitch, I didn't think Everton got close enough, competed enough. I think they never got within 5 or 10 yards of Gravenberch on those clips that you've showed. Yes, it's quality from an informed player, but Everton didn't really get in the face of those Liverpool players and make it a derby when they're out of possession, whereas in the second half, got a lot closer, competed, were braver in possession of the ball, and certainly made a game of it, and will be... Oh, you saw the frustration at the end. They'll be frustrated that they didn't actually get anything from the game.
And you alluded to before the game and again at half-time where Everton's danger was down that left-hand side, and that's where